NYCFootball.com, which is powered by City Grind Sports Network. We're here at Buffalo Wild Wings, not too far from the Barclays Center, and each and every week during the football season, we will be here at Buffalo Wild Wings on Monday. Joining me is, well, they are the first family of football. When it comes to football, especially in New York City, I have Chris Legree, Director of Operations at Football Operations at Brooklyn Eagle Academy, and his nephew, Jeff, who's won, 2 straight PSAL championships about 20 years ago?
Yes, that's crazy. Time fly, right? Who's next?
Who's next? As a matter of fact, we're going to discuss who's next. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about last season, PSAL football last season. The Rasmus Hall, I believe, won their 5th title. They defeated Tottenville High School.
Right.
And it was at Midwood. It returned to Midwood also, right, because for several years, the championship games were held at Yankee Stadium. Right. But at midfield, it seems to be more of a family atmosphere.
Right. A lot of excitement. People that's from Brooklyn and that's a part of the boroughs is familiar with Midwood. Midwood is a historical spot. Guess what? You guys do touchdowns in Midwood. Like, how real that is?
I don't know about that.
But guess what? But we did it though, And guess what? Having the legacy continue being in a place that where we all started and had success, even if it's bad, it's success because you got to learn from it. Even if you had winning success, guess what? You got to win from it, but you still got to learn from it. Every testament, every position that we've been through is a learning lesson, and it's what's next? Who's next?
I think
when we look at last year,
a good thing happened last year. The championship game itself was very competitive. Tottenville had a lead, and Erasmus, did what champions do. They weathered the storm and they came back and won, but it was a very competitive game. I think that's setting the tone for this season going forward.
Real good.
I think you're going to see a more competitive balance.
Was it that way last year? For the last
well, you had, I call it Godzilla. Godzilla won 5 years in a row. So yeah, if you look at the history of the PSAL, you get these runs, and then it turns over.
The other thing also, from my observation, the PSAL has allowed their teams to play teams from other states, travel. So that's been a good experience. Where in previous years, especially when you were playing,
right, but that happened in the last 2 years. So now if you look at
why did they do that though? Was it pressure? Was it to open up the competition, to test their teams, to see how good they are?
Well, we've been failing the test, but I think it's good for exposure for the players. But I think it's a good measurement of what we need to get to. There's other factors involved when you go to Norristown, Pennsylvania, or some of the places where the teams are playing. It's a total different environment and set up, how teams prepare, how much they can prepare. We got rules in New York City that's a little more restrictive than other places where they can basically get ready to play football all year round.
And where the town supports.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And 95% of these kids never left New York City. So that's just another opportunity where these kids could see let me do what I gotta do so I can go outside of New York. It's a bigger picture.
The quality of play. If you look at we were at the game against Cardinal Hayes and Erasmus, for example.
That was a scrimmage game.
That was a good program. You look at Erasmus, they went to Princeton. I think South Shore went down. There's some differences in play, particularly in the line play and special teams play. I mean, New York City got the best natural athletes in the world, but football, the mechanics of it, it requires good kicking game and other things.
Mechanical football, and the kids are way more disciplined at the word discipline is very important when you're playing a sport like football. That's like a kid running reverse. You still have to what? Stay home, right? Because if you don't stay home, then guess what? You're gonna get beat for a touchdown. So it's the little things, that you'll see, and it'll look like it's so much bigger, which is not.
When in terms of public school versus Catholic school, who's better? I mean, we saw Cardinal Hayes, what they did to Erasmus Hall, but it was a scrimmage.
Catholic school kids are more disciplined. So, during a game in between the lines with the referee, it would look like the Catholic schools are better than the public schools, but those public schools are really better than the Catholic school kids. The public school kids just don't know how to listen.
Team-wise, again, it's a function of the team. Line play. You know, when everybody watches a football game, they look at the football, but the games are won in the box. And you got to train them right, you got to coach them right. Again, the environments that the football programs operate in the Catholic school, as opposed to kids that got to get on the bus, got to get on the train.
Yeah.
It's
a big difference. They're in the system.
Facilities.
Yeah.
You know, we live in the richest city in the world, but
you know, they have improved overall.
Right?
Your field has improved.
Oh, it's beautiful. But I'm just saying, it's a lot of factors involved.
When we look at what happened over the weekend, right? Erasmus Hall traveled out of town to go to that game.
Oh, they got beat. Again, you know, their record outside the borough is not good. They don't like it. But, you know, I think it's twofold. You go out there, like Jeffrey said, you go out there, it's great competition. It really readies you for this season. If you survive the physicality of it, no injuries and stuff like that, it's a benefit to it. So I think South Shore went down somewhere to play in Pennsylvania. Also, Lincoln went somewhere. Canarsie. I mean,
but that's good. That's great preparation for the kids. I think every kid should be playing football outside their state. Like you see the difference too of the level of play. You know, especially in the churches. And then that's how you're gonna know if a kid got it or not. It doesn't matter how much money you put into a kid, you always gonna see if the kid got it or not.
Okay. This week, PSAL action starts, league action. So this week we have somewhat of a preseason poll, and some of the people who voted in this poll voted for Tottenville as the #1 team.
I agree.
What?
Tottenville's gonna win the PSAL championship.
Come on, Jeff.
No disrespect to Danny Landberg or to the E-Hall Erasmus. Everybody get a turn. Danny had a great run. Danny had a pretty run. But it's Tottenville's turn. If they can have good quarterback play, they don't need to have great quarterback play. Good quarterback play with those two running backs, they're gonna be all right. Nobody ain't gonna stop them.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking how Erasmus will take in this kind of information. It will use it as a motivator.
Fuel for the fire.
And if they play, you know, it probably get down to those two again. You know, when you win 5 times in a row, it's hard to go against it. To me.
Does that say a lot if it gets back to those two again, that the city's lacking? If Tottenville and Erasmus Hall play each other again.
That's the likelihood. There's no parity in the league. The league, if truth be told, the league itself it's been at one of its weakest points in decades. That's one of somebody asked me about Danny Landberg chasing the record.
Leno and also Mo Finkelstein.
Mo Finkelstein.
That's high.
Yeah, but the point is that the PSAL was Fort Hamilton was winning. You had 2 Staten Island powers. You had it was more balance. You don't have that now, but I hate to say that. It's not to discredit their accomplishments, but it tarnishes it somewhat.
I disagree with you. I think this was gonna happen. Because you know I'm about to shake the room. Okay, go ahead.
We'll be back with more from Buffalo Wild Wings right after. We're back here at Buffalo Wild Wings, NYCFootball.com, powered by City Grind Sports Network here in Brooklyn, New York. Right up the street or down the street from the Barclays Center. All right, we were discussing the preseason top 10, and we were going into that a little bit. Before, we talked about Tottenville and Erasmus Hall. They are the top 2 teams, right? And then Curtis was number 3. What do you feel about Curtis's chances this year?
Coach P. Gambino always have those boys ready. If you're a part of that history.
Let's go into that. Okay, let's talk about this year. We won't go to History Channel.
This year, Curtis always a good team. They always in the mix. You can't sleep on a team like Curtis.
All right. We have Lincoln next. Lincoln's in the 4th spot.
They always have good talent. They got a new quarterback that transferred from Eagle Academy for his senior year. And
why was that?
Because we live in an era now where the transfer portal is like buying McDonald's. It's just, it's cultural now. Kids transferring from one year to another. There's no transfer rule anymore that would deter people from doing that, and coaches are recruiting out of control.
And you feel that the PSAL should get into that?
Hold on. You forgot that Lincoln have a really good running back. And everybody's sleeping on. I don't know the kid name. We're gonna find out. I think he's a junior or a senior this year.
All right, 5th spot, New Utrecht. I'm surprised. I don't know. I haven't heard too much about New Utrecht. Am I sleeping on New Utrecht?
They have a study program.
I would have put South Shore maybe.
Well, we're gonna find out soon anyway. This is a projection. Then we play the games. You got teams on there that don't get no respect, that can gain respect by beating people.
South Shore's next in the 6th spot.
Who, South Shore? If Nicholas Cyrus comes to South Shore, like I heard he had, then they'd be the number 1 seed in New York City. But other than that, I think they're gonna beat everybody. If he can play tough and play at a high level, I think they'll be all right. But if he don't come, I don't. JFK is one of the best teams in the city right now. I seen them play last week against AP Randolph. They're real good. They got a freshman quarterback. He's really good. Big kid.
They have a well-constructed program. You know, the coaches there have been there a long time. We actually was in camp with them. I got a lot of respect for them.
Were they part of the Horowitz era? Some of these coaches?
Yeah, a lot of all Big Mo and still there. You know, Vega, and they run a good program.
But Coach Vega know how to win, and he always wins. And if you look at the history of Coach Vega and JFK, they always in that quarterfinals, semifinals game. If they could get over the hump this year, who knows what may happen.
All right, we're going back to Staten Island. Wagner is in the 7th spot. No, Wagner's in the 8th spot.
Wagner's not good this year, and you'll see that against Tomville. I wish I would have knew, because then I would have made some different decisions. But shout out to Coach Newcomer and Coach Paterzo, but Wagner is not good this year.
All right, we're going back to the Bronx. Clinton High School's in the 9th spot.
Clinton lost in the championship last year. I'm always going to respect Clinton, because who Clinton is. Clinton is sneaky. I don't know. If they can have a good offense, then they'll be all right, because they always got good defense.
And go ahead. You have anything to say about Clinton?
They got to play the season.
And wrapping it up is Newdorf High School, home of the single wing. I can never forget that. I think they were first, maybe they were probably the last team to run the single wing offense back in the early 80s, late 70s.
They've been around for a while.
Yeah. But
that's crazy you saying that about Newdorf, because Newdorf to me was a spread offense. Remember, we seen Newdorf as a spread offense.
I seen that single wing.
I never knew that until you just said that.
Yeah.
So now me, I don't know, Newdorf, that's the App family. I don't know. I thought McKee should have been in that number 10 spot.
Okay. When we look at it also, let's talk about the PSAL. Is the PSAL cracking down? Recently, Brian Ellis, who was a head coach, stepped down. What was the reason for that?
Did
he step down? I'm asking, was he stepped down or was he fired?
Brian Ellis was fired.
Okay. Why was he fired?
They cracking out of...
It's a long investigation. And for us, we don't know all the details involved. And I want to say Brian Ellis is a good guy. He's a He's a good character guy. I'm not afraid to say it. I think Brian Ellis might have got caught into a web of some things. And when the PSL investigates, I think that investigation was going on for almost 2 years. And it's a shame to see a guy like him get hurt by it. But, you know, at the end of the day, we all have to be accountable too.
They also they fired their athletic director too?
Yes.
Yes, they fired the athletic director and the head coach. It's a sad situation. Because Brian was really doing his thing, trying to rebuild the program, and just made some big adjustments to have a good season.
Go ahead.
It's just bad business, baby.
Real quick, is this the residual of Bruce Eugene, who was also at Eagle Academy?
That's where the domino effect came from.
It's somebody,
Bruce Eugene did a lot of bad business in New York City. And it's a domino effect.
I'm not going to qualify what Bruce did or didn't do. I know Bruce, when he was active, won. Again, the investigation went on for 2 years, so we don't know the detail.
We're out of time. We're going to come back right after the segment from Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown. So we'll be back with more from Buffalo Wild Wings right after this. All right, we're back here at Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Brooklyn, right not too far from the Barclays Center, home of the Brooklyn Nets. We're discussing high school football, which premieres this weekend in New York City.
We have the MVP for the player of the game. This is the MVP trophy for the player of the game. Make sure y'all work hard and get good grades. Kids can't beat what they can't see, as what my Uncle Chris told us, and that's a real life theory. Hard work is a way of life, and hard work pays off. That's a fact. So do what you gotta do on and off the field, but when it's game time, make sure you show up so you go home with this trophy. And I'm gonna let Mike, Uncle Chris, tell you the history behind this trophy.
Well, matter of fact, the winner of this trophy will be invited to the show next Monday. So Wagner is playing Tottenville at Wagner High School on Saturday at 6 p.m. The most valuable player for this game will win this award. It will also be invited to the show along with his coach. So that's one of the top things from there. I guess Little League football, some of the leagues, Pop Warner teams and things like that throughout the city. And this is also where most of these coaches grab their players, right? Or recruit their players or funnel their players in. What's going on with that these days with Pop Warner and Big City Youth Football and things like that?
There's a culture out there now where, first of all, everybody wants to win right now. And then you got high school coaches coaching in youth organizations. Then you got parents who love to see their kids on Instagram and Facebook. Where years ago, you put a kid in the program for the sake of development and moving up, and then he went to high school and he played JV, that's over. It's, honestly, it's out of control.
But is it?
Let me just say this.
Wait, from the parents' perspective, is that such a bad thing? Getting some likes on Facebook, people are seeing you all over the country.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this: if that's not such a bad thing, how would you measure success for a 13 to 14-year-old boy from Brownsville or East New York 7 years later in his life? What are we? He got to be a Division I football player to say he's successful, or is he got to learn the basic skills of life so he can be a productive member of society? You know, we got an obligation. Yeah, we can use football to become entrepreneurs or something like that. But when you got coaches texting kids telling them, you come to my school, I get you a Division I, that's not realistic. And a lot of the mothers, they feed into that. We just got to Slow down a little bit. Development. Right? Development, that's all.
It's a process.
We're not making jocks. We want student athletes. Football's great, but we can't make jocks. And then we got to look at who's coaching your kid. There's a segment at Mo Better that we do in our curriculum. We ask this question: would you want to be coached by you?
Yeah. Are you saying that the coaches should be required to attend clinics every year?
I use the DOE. The DOE, they got PDs. They got professional development for teachers. We got to have CDs, coaches development. You're dealing with children. You're dealing with families. Some of these kids got different circumstances. Right? I see my sister sitting over here right now. She called me the other day. This kid, she's not an athlete, but her circumstance requires a certain resource. We all should be resource centers where we can help kids, because when they become grown, what they're going to talk about is when they won the championship. We got to make championship people. That's what we do.
All right. Also, we want to go over May 10th. It's a big day, right?
Yeah.
May 10th, 2025 at Brooklyn Eagle Academy football field. What's the big day, Jeff?
June 21st is the big day.
June 21st.
Oh, June 21st. At Eagle Academy. We're going to start the game earlier this year. Okay, we're not going to start the game at 7 o'clock like last year. We're going to start the game at about according to
last question.
5:30. Right?
Exactly.
You might have lights.
Exactly.
No.
Jeff, exactly. Who are you playing first?
Huh?
Who are you playing? Which team? It's an all-star game. Are you playing all-stars from a different borough? Or?
It's an all-star game
Are you playing
with kids from all the 5 boroughs.
Okay, are they playing teams from a different state?
No, they're not playing teams from a different state. So I break down the kids from the 5 boroughs, and I put a north and a south.
Catholic also included?
Catholic, private. This is what I really want to do this year. I want to get the public school versus the private school, y'all. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to wonder how we're running it. If we can't do it, we're going to wonder how we're running it. But we're going to get 8 coaches from the private school, 8 coaches from the public school. And we're going to build it off that. I see y'all tapped in. I see y'all show love on Instagram. I need y'all to be consistent. That's what I do. And we'll see what happens. But the game is going to be on June 21st at Eagle Academy at 5:45 kickoff. Uncle said we got lights now. They have a beautiful scoreboard. So we're gonna keep talking about it. We're gonna keep game.
We'll do it every week. Every week we'll talk about it.
The set date is June 21st at Eagle Academy. So I'll make sure I see y'all there.
All right.
If we had 4,000 people last year, I need 8,000 people this year.
All right, Jeff. We are out of time. That's a wrap up for NYCFootball.com, powered by City Grind Sports Network from Buffalo Wild Wings. For all of us, I'm Michael Bellamy. Take care.